Hey guys, so some of you may know me. My name is Lexi and I have been accepted to the Disney College program in Walt Disney World for fall of 2017. So this is my first video. I'm super excited. I leave Friday, which is 2 days from now, to head down to Florida and move in. So I wanted to wait to do my first video until I got where I'm going to work and do it kind of as like a big reveal to all my friends and family and those of you who are watching where I'm going to be working. So, drum roll, my location is in Magic Kingdom, which I'm so excited about because Magic Kingdom is my favorite park. You got princesses, you got fairy tales, you got some of the best rides, Space Mountain, I'm looking at you, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. All of my favorite things are at Magic Kingdom. So whenever I was applying, I was a little scared about getting Magic Kingdom, mostly because I didn't want Main Street. It's a little frightening because that's where everyone comes in, so it's always going to be crowded. I was very nervous about that, but if I got it, you know, I was going to roll with it because that's what you do, and it was just an honor to be accepted in the first place. So, Magic Kingdom, I will be at Liberty Square Adventureland, which is so exciting because first of all, there's some of the coolest costumes, and it's a whole array of costumes that I'm gonna be wearing, and I'm so excited to just put on different costumes, try out different locations, meet all the amazing guests that come through. So if you're wondering what stores I might be working at, like I was, some of the shops I could be working at will be the Ye-Old Christmas store, the Haunted Mansion gift shop, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride gift shop, let's see what else, oh, Agrabah across from the Flying Carpets, which is awesome. I get to see Aladdin and Jasmine all the time, and a glow cart, which is of course where the kids at night can buy their bubble wands or their glow sticks and their glow swords, and super cool. And that's a little intimidating, but after talking to a few people, I've realized it's actually a really cool job because you really get to interact with the people a lot more than you would in just a normal store. So now that I've done my reveal, I think it's probably time that I go through the interview process and how I've got this far. Now, I'm not going to talk about housing or any of that right yet. I'll leave that for another day. I just want to talk about how I got into the program in the first place. So if anyone was ever curious, they knew how to get some tips and tricks on how to get in. So the first day that it opened was January 23rd. And I knew this because, of course, I've been following them on Facebook. I've been checking my email regularly. And so when applications dropped on January 23rd, sorry, my bad, I was so excited. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, it's time. I'm going to apply. This is something I've been looking forward to for years. So I was really nervous. I was really excited. All these emotions, and took a deep breath. Once I finished, I had one class left of the day at college. So once I got off, as soon as I went home, that was the first thing I did. Basic application process. You put your past work experience, where you go to school. I do believe, and I could be wrong, this is where you rank your what you would like to do. So of course, merchandise is what I put. I put like very interested in merchandise. You can put, I put that I'm not, like, I'm decently interested in quick service food. I would have been fine doing it, but that's like not what I wanted to do. You can also do like mousekeeping, which is like a maid at a hotel, cleaning up the parks, all that kind of stuff. So you just rank these. You put like interest or very interested, neutral, you know, stuff like that. Basic application things. You attach your resume, you just fill out questions about yourself. Super simple, super easy. If you've ever applied for a job, it's basically the same thing. So I sent that, of course, January 23rd, like I said. On that very day, an hour later, they sent me an email saying that I had moved on to the next step, and I was like really shocked that it only took that long. So I was like, next step, what's that? Web interview is what that next step is called, and you have 3 days to complete it or else you're going to be out of the running. Web interview was, pretty simple. Of course, if you've ever applied for a job, it's very similar to what I had done in the past with other jobs. The thing that will trick you and the thing you need to watch for is they'll ask you the same question in multiple ways. So make sure you're very concise with your answers, because you don't want to say one thing for one, like, how would you deal with a disgruntled guest? Well, if you said that I would talk calmly, I would be very polite, whatever, on that question, and then they're like, what do you do when a guest is yelling at you? Basically the same question. You're like, well, I would yell back. Of course, they're not going to consider you after that, after changing your answer. And of course, yelling at a guest wouldn't be a good idea either. Let's not yell at guest people. Anyway, so that took, I don't know, maybe an hour to complete. It wasn't very long, and like I said, it's pretty much like any other web interview I've ever taken before for any other job. And then, so I found out, I took that on January 24th, which of course is the day after I did the original application. On January 25th, which is the next day, this has all been 3 days so far, I found out I got through that round, and I had to schedule a phone interview, which is super exciting, super nerve-wracking. So I went in immediately and scheduled my phone interview, and I thought I had saved it, but it was about, and you have 3 days to schedule a phone interview just like the web interview. It was about 2 days later, so I had 24, and they're like, you have 24 hours to schedule your phone interview. I'm at work when I get this email. I start crying. I'm like, why didn't it schedule my interview? I'm also very dramatic, so that's probably why I was crying. I was like, why didn't it save? It was no big deal. I shouldn't have taken it this far. But anyway, I went in there, scheduled my interview, and everything was all right. But make sure, I learned my lesson, that you get a confirmation email that says your interview has been scheduled for this date at this time. Because if you don't, then it didn't save, and they'll send you an email saying you got 24 hours or else you're going to be out of the running. So, my phone interview was for February 2nd. It was 9:45 Eastern Time. It was 8:45 Central Time. So when you schedule it, it is in Eastern Time. So you need to take that into consideration on what time zone you're in, because if you schedule it for 9:45 Eastern Time and you live in Arizona, then it's going to be really early for you. So you really need to use your World app on your phone, Google it, do whatever you need to, make sure you know what time it is in your time. It's only an hour difference for me, so it didn't make that big of a deal, and I wanted it early in the morning anyway. So once you save that, they'll send you an email saying, your date and time, and they tell you need to be prepared 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after for your interview. This could be because their last interview got over early or it got over late, so you need to be ready for anything. I'm pretty sure I waited 30 minutes before because I was super nervous, super excited. I wanted to get it done. I wanted to show them that I was serious about this, so I waited 30 minutes before time. I sat there, would stare at my phone, wait for the call, and they called at 8:45 on the dot. So I sat there and waited for 30 minutes, waited for the 15-minute mark, and then at the exact time is when they called me. More than likely, I think this is what usually happens. It's going to be on time, but they just say that just to cover their tracks, and so you don't freak out if it is early or late. Whenever you get the call, it's Lake Buena Vista. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. Number, so just be on the lookout for that. Anything that usually says Florida, I think some people got an unknown, but I think mostly it's going to say Florida is what your interview is going to be. A tip that my best friend taught me was write down your interviewer's name. That way when you hang up the phone, you can be like, oh, thank you, Stacy, for taking the time to call me. I'm very excited about this opportunity. Your girl here didn't write the name down because I was too nervous, and she said it and I didn't hear it, and I was too chicken to go back and ask. So let me tell you, if you don't hear the first time, be like, oh, what was that again? And then they'll more than likely tell you their name. Do that. Don't do what I did and freak out, and don't ask at all. The phone interview, of course, was, nerve-wracking, because it's not like a real interview where you can read the person you're sitting across from's face and you can tell like how they feel about you. It's over the phone. You can't see them. You don't know what they're doing. They could be sitting in their pajamas for all you know. I don't think they are. Disney, I don't think you have your phone interviews sitting in your pajamas. I'm sure they're dressed nice in an office. Anyway, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what their facial expressions are, and that's a lot about what communication is being able to read someone's face and tell like if they like you, if they think you're a good person. You don't have that when it's over the phone, so it's a little nerve-wracking, but you can also hear they're also going to be super nice to you. You're going to hear in their voice that they're like really supportive of you, and they're really, taking time to consider you and stuff like this. The interview questions were, super, I guess not basic, but like super relatable in just the interview process. They talk about how you communicate with your coworkers, how you interact with customers, and of course Disney's all about customer interaction. You always want to make a magical experience for your guest, and so they just like want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit and that you're going to provide what Disney is looking for, and that's really what this phone interview is about. Of course, they did ask, role-specific questions. They asked me quite a few questions about attractions. They asked me, what would I do if I was working Space Mountain and it was closed for repairs? What would I tell an angry guest that came up to me and was upset that they couldn't get on Space Mountain? And my answer to that was, I would make sure the guests knew that Space Mountain would be up and running as soon as possible, and offer them suggestions on what else to do in Tomorrowland. So, of course, there's Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, there's Stitch's Great Escape, there's Tomorrowland Speedway. And so I said, I would give them a list of things that they could do and tell them roughly about a time they could come back to Space Mountain. So I got a few questions about attractions, and of course I got a few questions about merchandise, what I did in other jobs that I did merchandise in, how I interacted with customers, how I interacted with coworkers. Like I said, basic interview questions, just with a Disney touch to it. So when I hung up the phone, I really thought I was gonna get attractions because that's what they focused on a lot. Of course, she was like, "Do you have any more questions?" She also asked if I'd ever lived with a roommate. I said, yes, we didn't share a room, but we did share an apartment. She asked, how, I get along with my roommates. What would I do if there was a problem and stuff like that. Just, things that, basic questions that aren't that hard to think of on the spot. You just state what you've done in the past. Like I said, my roommate and I took turns cleaning. One day someone would wash the dishes and the other someone else would. Stuff like that about how you would cooperate with not just guests, but people in the Disney College program as well. She asked me if I had any more questions. I think I asked her a question. I can't really remember. I did ask about when we would find out about if we got accepted, and she said March, which I'll tell you why I questioned that just then. But she said about March is when you'd find out if you got accepted. And she also mentioned character performer auditions, which I was already deciding to go to. I went to Atlanta in the beginning of March. But by the time I went to performer auditions, I had already been accepted. Which is why I questioned that, because she said March, and I found out on I got the email on Valentine's Day that I've been accepted into the Disney College program. I didn't find out until the next day because I hadn't checked my emails because I was waiting until March to check my emails every day. When I got it, I was actually in the room with my college roommate, and I see Disney college program or Disney internship, congratulations. I freaked out. I threw the phone at her. I said, please read this. I can't handle this. I was crying and jumping up and down, and she read it to me. I can't even remember what it said. I was too busy screaming. Of course, I called my family and friends, told them, posted it on Facebook, did everything. It was just a very exciting time. Like my dreams came true. Like, this is all I wanted, was the Disney college program, and now I have the chance to. And I hope you guys stick around and see what I'm up to and keep up with my journey, because if you know me personally, you know that this has been a dream of mine for the longest time, and I couldn't be more excited to begin this journey in just a few short days. And I hope you guys have a magical day, and keep up with me Wednesday at Wonderland, or Wednesday in Wonderland on YouTube. You can like and subscribe and follow me on my journey. You guys have a magical day.